Hi everyone, Cabara here with another behind the scenes video, another showing you my song video in the digital audio workstation. This time I would like to show you a song that I recently released, self-released. It's called Grateful. Let's have a look how it sounds like.
You know where you sort of stop the total of a person's life? It was a fine person. I'm grateful.
Lots to cover. Let's start with the drum group. Zoom in here. So the kick, right? Kick is I'm using this Max for Life device kick, which is really cool because you can shape your kick. It's synthesizing the kick drum, and yeah, I needed to play a long time around with the settings to find enough punch, enough like decay. It had to fit the groove. Other than that, I mean, it's a kick drum, right? The only other thing that's kind of like a little bit important is that I reduced the decay time here at the end, because otherwise the kicks would have overlapped and would have mudded up everything. So that's the kick. Moving on to the first little groove. So to give it this shuffly feeling, a little bit like a shaker. I mean, those are open hi-hats and closed hi-hats. What I did is I played around with the fade out settings here. As you can see, it's cutting out earlier. So for example, feels a little bit like a shaker. Sorry. This is how the sample sounded like. It's a little bit spread out. So I did this to make it shorter, actually like this, and still a bit punchy, and I did this for all the samples used in this groove. Have to unread this. And then together with the kick, it's pretty much already a nice groove. Okay, then this little group here, it's called extra snares. There are some snares, but it's not the main purpose of this one. It's hard to hear this little do-do-do-do-do. Here comes the snare. And then lots of snares here around this area to lead into, yeah, the next couple of bars. Introducing these bars by a crash is pretty standard. Okay, so if we put these elements together, this is how it sounds at this point. It keeps the interest for the roughly 20 seconds it's going on. Okay, then we need some more elements here. This is a clap with some reverb on it. And here's some more open hi-hats. Together it sounds like this. This alone would already be a good groove, I think, a good beat, but actually these elements I added up later. I started with all these poisonous green colors here. Those are recordings from Drumazone. Drummer Zone, if you don't know it, is the pretty much a 909 emulator. Let's see if I can go in there. Okay, so it's pretty much resembles the famous Roland 909, but gives you some more options to shape the sounds. I recorded all of this into actual tracks, and those actual tracks are these poisonous green colored here, and they sound like this. So mostly more elements kind of in the background, kind of atmospheric. Originally I had the snare and the kick here as well. Yeah. Not really visible anymore because I high-pass filtered it and replaced it with the Max for Live drum here. So at this point the whole drum loop sounds like this. As for the processing, I mean, this takes a long time, but I can show you roughly what I did. I pushed the overall levels, once I mixed to balance out the levels, I pushed the overall level to high enough to get some reduction here in the clipper. Actually, there's quite a lot of clipping here, which gives it more punch, especially the kick. Afterwards, I tried to clean this up a little bit with this EQ. Get in some more. This I think is a drum bus. It comes with Ableton Live. It's a preset, as you can see in this case, but I think I played around with the transient at least. Clue compressor, because otherwise it would be not the kick would be too present and the rest would not. So here the difference. This gives you almost like 10 decibels on the kick reduction added to this reduction here from the clipper, and push everything by 5.5 decibel to balance it out. But this is just a matter of taste and you know, playing around over many days to find one that actually sounds interesting. Okay, moving away from the drums to the bass section. Let's have a look how the bass section sounds like. It's like a back and forth between the orange and the blue track, which adds to the groove. I can even imagine it without the drums now, this pumping groove going on. So yeah, so the bass sound is pretty much a preset I used, but I adjusted it a little bit. The preset is called Kind Bass, I think, and I split it up in a lower and in a mid section of it. So let's have a look at the lower one. They're playing the same thing, but different frequencies and different processing. The idea is for them to add up together. And then, like, talking back to these sounds is the sub bass. It's basic offbeat, pretty much basic offbeat sine wave. I think it's. Let's have a look. I think it's made in Serum. No, it's not. I actually just operator called subsine bass. Didn't change too much, I think. And together they're like this. When it comes to the processing, similar stuff. But that is something I like to use. So, Serum, if you have Serum, it's not just a synthesizer, it has also this FX VST that you can use. And let's have a look before. It's extremely mono. And here I added some more distortion, compression, and this is what I think makes it stand out, the high band dimension. gives it more space and more of this modern tech house type of feeling. Okay, bass-wise not too much, right? I mean, I don't know how many tracks the drums were, but the bass line is like 3 tracks. And that's it. I recorded it as well here at this point. So this is a recording, filtered recording. But I mean, it's not much happening. It's just for controlling the frequencies a bit more in the sections in between the intro and the bridges or the breaks, or how you want to call it. Okay, then there's way more tracks over there. This one might be interesting. It is I think I randomly generated these bells here. Sorry, I have to go here because it's filtered. So I think for this, I did not play this on a piano. I think I used the generate function here that comes with the newest Ableton version. And to control it a little bit, to not be too messy, I had a lot of effects, mostly the auto filter, to build it up, you know. So it's quiet, it builds up towards the end of this phrase and has some delay to it, and then phases into the next one. Fades out, and then you have another section over here. Just some things to keep it interesting. This one as well here. I'm not sure. I think I did not spend much time programming this one. And then again, it's the filtering that keeps it interesting. So it goes from brighter to darker, and then again brighter. Also almost like another rhythmical element to the whole thing. Okay, but more of the stuff in the background. Vocals. When you follow me on TikTok or Instagram, or even YouTube Reels, you might have seen that I sampled some old movie dialogue for this type of sample. So there has been a funeral section or something, and a woman talks to an old friend of the person who died, and in the end says, I'm very grateful for having him, and that's the whole idea of this track that I call it Grateful, right? And so the grateful vocals, let's find it, I think here. This is a good point to have a look at it.
You know where you sort of stop and total up a person's life? He was a fine person. I'm grateful for that.
So what you have is this, the recording from the scene, but a lot of processing here as well.
Sort of stop.
Mostly I think it's the effects that come here through the shaper box and the delay, as well as the stuff that builds up here is, that's the shaper box, and then you have these other delay and reverb functions all together. So I think if I would deactivate all of them, this is how it would sound like.
You know where you sort of stop and total up a person's life? He was a fine person. I'm grateful for that.
So very dry, and then together with this, it gives this almost psychedelic sound to it.
You know where you sort of stop and total up a person's life? He was a fine person. I'm grateful for that.
And then what I did, especially this stuff that rings out now, I recorded it back to here. Now that's there was you can hear a little bit like I'm grateful, I'm grateful, I'm grateful. Those are just snippets from the recording and arranged it a little bit. But we have this one. This is what I was trying to look for. It already starts in the beginning, but then becomes more visible here, or more audible here. So it's a little bit lower, it's a little bit more the distance. but you can see that I'm grateful, and it actually has some rhythmic to it again that is different, and those were the most important elements of this track, right? We have the big drum groove, followed by the kind of small but groovy bass line, and the vocal, which gives it character. I mean, this vocal sample is what makes it, you know, memorable. And as you already saw, there are these smaller elements all around here, like this. What was it? This pad is another thing I have here actually. So originally it was like this. It's another preset, or based on a preset called Block Minor Brass. I filtered it through this auto filter and added some more effects, and then actually I recorded it to here, and then just used the recording to. It was easier for me to control it and to chop it up, because the auto filter sometimes is not so easy to control. You know, if you use the LFO and filter sweep through here. Yeah, and then standard stuff, right? At the beginning of one of these bars, you have these white noises going down in conjunction with the crash actually here. It's like an extension of the crash if you want. And to build up to this, it's also super common, is to use a sweep up or just reverse the crash or something. And in here I got a little bit lazy. I just used some Vengeance sample. I think I might cut it. Yeah, I cut it a little bit because it got harsher at the end, but then you have this one here. And this grows up and then leads into the white noise crash kind of thing. And then it fades away. I mean, those are just because you don't want to have these. You don't want to have these loop blocks one after another. It should be, there should be some transitions over them and or between them and lead into the next one, and not just block and block and block. It just gives it like more character and stuff. Okay, then let's put it all back together. This is how it would sound like. But it's a breakdown because at some point the DJ needs to actually introduce the next song, so not too much is happening here.
I think I feel kind of like problem and addition.
You can feel that it's building up again with the groove coming back.
I just think it's pointless. You know where you sort of stop the total of a person's life? It was a fine person.
And then it just goes into the drop.
I'm grateful for that.
And that's the part we were in the beginning. That's the song. I mean, sounds easy, but it took me a while. Anyway, yeah, I hope you found this interesting. So if you like the track, you can find it on Spotify, YouTube, Bandcamp, wherever. Just search for Cabara and Grateful. And if you like this, give me a comment or something so I can do more behind the scenes for other upcoming tracks if that is interesting and helpful to you. So let me know. Have a conversation, okay? See ya.